Hello again. Okay, today we're taking and just doing a basic setup for 3-wire controllers. Now this setup is shown with an Arton 1/43 scale, somewhat by request by one of my customers, and but this will work with any brand of track, whether it be a 6-volt transformer, 12-volt, 14.7, etc., etc., or even if you had a car battery hooked up to it, it would work. Now there's different variations on how you can take and set this up as far as for your track. I have it simulated on a board as if it was on the side of a 2x4 laced track that had the 2x4s on the outside, and I just used some wood screws. Now you can also use actually nails. You can use screws as far as with nuts and bolts on them, which is actually pretty good because you can take and put that on there, and instead of soldering something or trying to twist it on real tight, you can just kind of clamp an extra nut in there with a washer above the wire and clamp it down good and tight. Anyway, let's get going on it. Let's see if I'm much of a cameraman here. Now what you notice that I've done, and it's to each their own, is I've indicated each lane, alright, indicating lane 1, controller contacts, etc., etc. And this is something that you probably should take and do when you start. Figure out where the person might be standing that they're going to connect their 3-wire controller to. And then from that point, it will tell you what length of wire you need, how much, etc., etc. So, in this case, it's for 2 lanes. You could put 4 lanes. You could have 8 lanes. I mean, if you just did this over and over, it would work for any track. Now, what I've done here, like I say, it's a 1/43 track, and on the top it just indicates where that wire is connected underneath. In other words, as you can see, both black wires are connected to the same side of the rail as with the red wire. Now, turning this over, okay, what I've done, and in this case, suggestion only, use the actual color black and red. And as you go along, just make sure you have the two kind of paired together when you come up to your connection block. Now, as far as soldering them in there, most tracks, almost all tracks that I've ever checked, have somewhere where you can take and get underneath it like that and solder. So you don't even need the power intake track. So, again, to each their own on how they take and do that. Some may take and try to clip something up under there. It might be a little bit hard to keep in place. But a simple soldering gun, a small roll of solder will take and do this job perfectly fine. Okay, I'm going to flip this back over again. Now, trying to take and be the cameraman, alright, as you can see, let's see if I can get this right. There we go. The red wire is coming out from one lane here, okay, and this lane right here, okay. And just like I say, if you pre-mark this and you have a white, black, and a red and black, even if it's just the initials, as long as you know exactly what they're going to take and be all the way to the end, you're good to go. But the 2 red wires will come out and connect to their own red and red, all right. But what you'll notice is a wire that goes from this one here and comes over and connects to this. In other words, it joins those two. Okay, the black wires, all right, not exactly the same, but the black wire comes out and connects to the black terminal. As simple as that. Okay, I mean, just like it shows here, up under here, that wire is connected right there and comes along and goes over to the black terminal. Same thing with the other lane, just a separate lane to the different block right here. Okay, now, which some of it seems a little odd when I say, hey, this is what you're going to have to hook it up to. But when it comes to your positive and negative on your transformer, and this is just a simple 1/43 transformer from Arton, the white wire is actually positive, okay, and the red wire is actually negative. Now, a lot of people say, well, why don't you use black, this and that? Well, here's the thing, is when you connect these up, that is what the controllers normally have, okay, a white, red, and a black connection wire. Now, I didn't make the rules or anything, so it doesn't really look right here, with a white wire and then the red wire being a negative, but it needs to be on the negative and the white wire must go to the positive. If this was a lawnmower battery that you had here. The same exact thing. The white goes to a positive and the red goes to the negative. You know, I've seen all kinds of power supplies out there. I've even seen old computer supplies that people have pulled out of old laptops, and or not laptops, but desktops, and had the fans on them for cooling, which is kind of neat and stuff, and they would connect different voltages from all those power supplies. But the bottom line is, red has to go to the negative, white to the positive. Now, this one is completed. I didn't want to take a whole lot of time and just saying, hey, you know, this is how you solder. And because most of you that are going to dwell into something like this here probably already have the soldering gun and probably know how to solder just fine. So the simulation that I'm going to take and use are just alligator clips, but now with this here in mind, you have a white wire clip, and I don't have one that actually is white, and then you have one with the red, and then you have one with the black. Now that just simulates hooking up that 3-wire controller. So your friends come over and they connect their track up, and you know, they just walk over, clip it on. All right, you turn on your power supply and you're ready to race. It's pretty much that simple. You would do the same thing for the other guy with the other track. He'd walk over, connect up his 3-wire controller, and you're off. I mean, like I say, there can be just a whole row of lanes here. It just depends on what a person wants. So the kind of the cool thing is no matter if you have a 4-lane intake track, you really don't need it if you're setting it up this way. You can go 8, you can go 10, you can go 12. I'd like to be there with you when you hook up that 12-lane track, but hey, that's the way it works, right? Anyway, long and short, hope this helps. If something doesn't make sense or something, contact me with eBay and I'll do my best to explain. Thank you.